Hey there, folks, and welcome to Dummy Run Sports. My name is Brody Hessen, and today I want to discuss three things that stood out to me at the latest U.S. women's national team friendly against Paraguay. There were a lot of new faces, which is always exciting. However, it is a bit of a pro and con. Pro players are gaining confidence and chemistry. Con players are still finding confidence and chemistry. I'll talk more about that later, but let's get into the good stuff. Firstly, Giselle Thompson really stood out to me for a few reasons. Giselle's speed and willingness to get forward is what makes her such an attractive option at right back. Now, offensively, nobody was making good passes in the first half. Nobody. From the entire team. Things were slow, telegraphed, and lacked execution. There was zero flow from line to line, so I am not going to hold that against Giselle alone. Again, this squad was extremely young and inexperienced by design, so a lack of chemistry in the first 45 minutes is to be expected. However, defensively, she was excellent. Whenever a defender pushes forward, that side then becomes the vulnerable side. I thought the flow and chemistry that Lola Bonta had with Giselle was terrific. I can't think of a time when that side of the defense was caught out in transition while Giselle was playing forward. Giselle has the rare ability of being the fastest person on the pitch 90% of the time, which allows her to recover quickly, but to have such seamless coverage and communication to rotate assignments should be a big green flag for Labonta and Giselle to get more international appearances. And I want to continue with Giselle for just a moment because not only was the defensive flow between the lines solid from her, but also she was tasked with defending in a completely different way in the second half, which she rocked out with as well. In the second half, the U.S. basically went to a three-back formation with three center backs, and Giselle played the right center back. It's a completely different set of responsibilities from the first half. Again, her speed allows her to make mistakes and recover pretty easily from them, but in this game, when she was on the back line, she didn't make mistakes. Her angles were excellent, and her ability to cut players off, win 50-50 balls, and shoulder off others to gain position on the ball was very impressive from a 20-year-old with just 5 senior roster caps. Her defensive execution and versatility were on full display in this game. No notes. I do have notes for the offense, though, which got a lot better once this player came in. Maddie Dahlin. Excellent debut from Maddie Dahlin. She definitely changed the dynamic of this game when she came in the second half. I will say the team overall cleaned up a lot of things on the whiteboard in the locker room at halftime. I don't think that will ever be an issue with Emma Hayes. Her in-game understanding of schematic adjustments make her a phenomenal coach. It's the execution from a young, inexperienced roster which is the most important thing to test in friendlies like this, which I will talk about in a minute. However, Maddie Dahlin needs some flowers right now. Even though she subbed on as a left back, she really played as a forward midfielder for most of her minutes. She had some zingers for crosses and had excellent ball control and overall vision when it came to passing. To Paraguay's credit, they never dropped into a low block, a 5-4-1, and just trusted their 5-person mid-block 5-2-3 back line, which for the most part did a great job congesting the USA's front line. Until Dahlin entered the chat. With Dahlin forward, it moved Olivia Moultrie over one slot, more center, which then overloaded Paraguay's backline with runners going forward. Moultrie, Sentner, Bethune, Rodman, and Sears, they were all running through the backline to grab the dimes that Dahlin was dropping. Overall, I was very impressed with her composure and confidence in her execution during her first senior roster minutes. And the third and final thing that I want to touch on, which kind of piggybacks on with the player's execution, is just the lack thereof in the first half. Listen, I know that the point of these games is not to charge astronomical ticket prices just to watch a scrimmage. I digress. The point of these games is to gain experience, to try new players out, discover new chemistry, and build on old game flow. So my point of bringing this up is not to be critical of passes being telegraphed, or being too slow, or too strong, or lacking finesse. It's to take note of where this first game of the year, after 3 months off, has started. You would want the second game of the year to be better. You could tell even in this first game, there was so much more clarity and vision coming out of the locker room after halftime. There were no tiki-taka passes just for tiki-taka passing's sake. It was tiki-taka passing to get open or to make a cross. The conviction in vision increased the overall execution in the plays, which is when the goals came flooding in. Even in the first half, the one, and I do mean the one good pass that broke through lines was the second to last touch of the first half, which then led to the last touch of the first half being a world-class left-footed strike from Raylan Turner to net her first ever national team goal. It was a beauty, beating the goaltender short side. It was the first finishing attempt from anyone that was intentional and not just hopeful, which came from a pass from Moultrie that was deliberate and had vision. Again, I bring this up because I think this is the overarching reason why so many different players scored in this game. The whole team started playing with their heads up, looking for options, instead of heads down, making sure they were individually executing properly. This is a young team at the beginning of a long year, so it is important that players improve moving on from this point and build on what flow and confidence they've developed in this game, especially finishing in the final third, which historically has been an issue in the past 5 to 6 years. Okay, that's it for me today. Which was your favorite goal from this game? There were a lot of beauties to choose from. Who stood out to you? What are you looking forward to in the next game against China? Let me know and leave a comment down below. If you've liked this video and appreciate fun and insightful discussions on women's sports, this channel might be for you. Anyways, see ya.